Welcome back to Upshaw Unfiltered. I'm Andrew Upshaw. I'm your host for the show, and we are on episode number 5. It's crazy to think that we are 5 into this series already. Should be 6. Did miss a week, because nobody's perfect. But I do have a really interesting guest on this week, somebody that I've wanted to have on the show for the last few weeks. I tried to get him last week. The dude is out in the middle of Canada hunting some geese, but definitely somebody that everybody knows right now is a young phenom, live scoper. It's all he does. Just ask him and ask everybody that knows him. But without further ado, let's bring on in Trey McKinney. What's up, Trey? How's it going, man?
What's going on, buddy?
Well, I mean, I was hoping that I could bring you on and just learn all these little eye scope tricks and tips on how to catch more bass and bigger bass, even though I fish the trail that doesn't even allow it. So
Yep.
I guess that's kind of a defeats of purpose. But welcome in, man. How's it been going?
I appreciate it. It's been going good. Like you said, we just got back from Canada. I stayed up there for about 2 weeks, getting the head clear. It's fun. It's going to anymore. Fishing season's starting like early and earlier. So like this year, most of the time, like I'll be fishing in like January. So that's usually when we get ducks here in Illinois. So, what I'm starting to figure out, I'm gonna try to get it out early. I'm gonna buy me a trailer, buy me quite a bit of stuff, stay up there for a month or so, and then come back and then start fishing where I'm not kind of conflicting schedules.
Well, yeah, and I can see that. I mean, and it's so important. We talk about it, especially we've talked about it on the show a few times, and a lot of other podcasts that I've been on. Is your mental game when it comes to fishing at this level is maybe just as important as any other aspect of your game, whether it be your techniques, what sonar you use, or anything else in between. Like mentally, if you're not prepared for where you're going, you're going to be a disaster when you get there. So I do applaud you for trying to find some peace before the chaos. And speaking of chaos, this season was kind of chaotic a little bit. I mean, I'm gonna tell you right now, I don't watch a lot of Bass Live. We do have our Open Pros Pick'em, and I'm gonna tell you right now, we do not watch live, but when it came down to your second place finish and Angler of the Year, I did watch a lot of that live because it did kind of keep me on the edge of my seat. That was such a close call there. I was sure cheering for you at the end. Came up just a little bit short. Obviously, when you're in a situation like that, you look back on the season and you can think of just one fish here or two fish there that really cost you making that big plunge there. So tell us a little bit about that. Tell me something that nobody else knows. What fish are you looking back on that says, you know what, that was it. That was the one.
Well, actually, the first day of the season, I weighed in 2 giant 12 inchers. And if I would have literally, I mean, all I had to caught was 5 of them, 5 12 inchers, and I'd have been fine. So that definitely hurts a little bit or a lot, but it's fine because I literally ran down. And so the year before I fished in the St. John's, I found them way up there. Nobody really knew about it. And I only found it because I was struggling so bad. I just ran to where no man could go, and found them and caught them pretty good. And then the next year I went up there, and then all of a sudden there is literally boats everywhere, like everywhere. And I have like 4 or 5 different places there, and I run up. And there was nobody on the first place. So last year I had it all to myself because nobody knew about it. So I stopped on the first place. Didn't think anybody was going to be up there. And then all of a sudden somebody runs past me. So I'll hurry up and jump on pad. I try to run to the best spot. And somebody's already sitting there. And I knew I could catch a limit in there. I probably kind of messed up for sure. I probably should have started on the good stuff. But I had me a little milk run I thought I'd make before. And it caught, and after that I tried to fish my way back, and I didn't ever get a limit. So definitely probably cost me Angler of the Year that day, but it's all right. Little stuff that happens.
Yeah, it's crazy when you start looking back. I mean, I can't necessarily say Angler of the Year issues for me, but more so championships, making championships, not making championships. The difference when finishing in the top 10 in points and 25th in points is a lot of times one or two bad decisions.
Yep.
And it could be something as simple as a fish or two fish or three fish. And what people don't realize a lot of times is it is such a minute thing like that, something so small that can cause such a big problem. I know looking back at my NPFL season this year, there was a lot of real close calls where I was like right on the cusp of having a great tournament, lose a fish here, make a
Yep.
bad decision there. I mean, and it really piles up through the season. But one thing that I noticed about you as an angler that maybe people don't know is the amount of time that you spend prepping for tournaments. There's anglers out there that spend time studying maps. There's anglers out there that spend time, looking at Google Earth. There's anglers out there that go and just get a bunch of waypoints from everybody.
Yeah.
But there's also anglers out there that go spend a week at a body of water and go side scan the whole lake and spend that time finding what they want to find. And I'm not going to lie to you, Trey. When I first met you, I thought you were the by the waypoint guy, and it hasn't been proven to me yet or not. But I can
Yeah.
tell you, after spending some time with you down in Mexico fishing the Pan Am Challenge down there, um, the amount of work that I know you put in at places, it kind of surprised me. I'm not going to lie to you. As an angler that did spend that time and used to do that all the time before I had a family,
Yeah.
I definitely admire the fact that you did put in the work to find a lot of this stuff. Which I'm going to tell you right now, everybody says that you buy a ton of waypoints. I
Oh yeah.
mean, and it is. I mean, but that's what everybody's always going to say when people are going to have success. So, um, but tell us about your pre-practice ritual, because I know, and you don't have to give us all the details. Believe me, I know there's trade secrets that you want to keep under the cuff. But tell us what you do for preparing for a tournament.
Yeah, so I cut off about like a week or more for I want to fish every event usually before I go there. So like most of the time, like let's say if it's in a lake that I like, that I know a little bit about, that I honestly I don't want to know too much about
Mm-hmm.
because I just have that feeling on it where I can just run around and do very well on a lake. And some lakes that is, some lakes it isn't. We all know we have certain lakes that's just always been good to us. And so some of those lakes I usually just fish a week and just run around and just try to catch them again. Just run around, figure them out. Not even like it all depends really because it's a different strategy for every situation. Like a lake like that, I'll just go and figure them out again. Just whatever they're doing, I'm there
Right.
in the spawn. I'm gonna go figure out how to catch whatever 25 pounds in the spawn, just to give me that confidence that okay, all right, I still got it. I still got it. It gets you a little bit where you're kind of floating a little bit, where you got that
Mhm.
that run and gun, not getting tired type thing. And in those type of tournaments, I usually just like I said, just go fishing and I'll find little areas and stuff that I'll go back to and sometimes find them. But usually on a lake like that, I'm running around so much just trying to find them like I normally do. The pre-practicing doesn't do a whole lot for me, but like lakes that are like kind of confusing that I don't know a whole lot about, I do. I'll try to side scan every inch of it, and I'll pick up like certain creek arms that I like. Start there, and usually on a place that's confusing to me, I'll try to spend like as much time as I can, week and a half, even sometimes even more. I know, like up at St. Lawrence, like I spent, I don't even know how much up there just idling and idling and idling and idling. And that was one of the worst practices I've ever had. Like literally the first 2 days, I was like, I don't even know if I can catch 15 pounds. Like it's terrible because I marked all these rocks and all this stuff, and there's no fish on any of it. And so that's a learning experience too because I didn't know what to idle. I didn't know what fish set on. I
Mhm.
just marked good structure. Well, I ended up with thousands of waypoints just because I was marking like 2 foot rocks, 4 foot, and most of the time they only sit on the good ones. And certain ones like the current come around a certain way, and so like certain stuff like that. Now I'm learning. Like now I know what to idle. So when I see it, okay, that's what I need to mark instead of this little
Right.
pebble over here and stuff. But there's a lot to it for sure because a lot of times it gets you cluttered even more because like you usually so like pre-practice, let's say I find them really good, I'll spend a day if you're not too careful, you'll spend a day of your practice in your tournament doing that. And
Right.
sometimes that is very wrong because I mean literally I just cut myself down to 2 days, like for no
Yeah.
reason. And so that's the thing you have to be careful with. But like for me, honestly, pre-practice has helped me so much because literally I'll find like a group of fish and I'm like, all right, so where have they went from here? And then
Hmm.
I'll kind of track them down until I find them. Because like here we go with live scope, but the main thing with live scope that's gonna hurt me is like with a half and half is not so much like used to when I started like fishing BFLs, everything else like that. I practiced with a rod. Like that's it. Like
Hmm.
that's all I done. I practiced with a rod, shaking them off, doing that, anything. But going into like the competition I'm now, it's so hard to compete. You know, these guys are so good. I was like, well, I got to learn this to the best I can. And that's like these last 2 years have been like I've learned so much with that thing. And now I can practice without a rod usually. Like, you know, I usually just troll around and when I see what I like and then I kind of feel it out, see how many I like. I'm like, that's 3 or 4 pounder. And I'm not saying like I'm perfect on size, but like I can definitely tell like what on live scope what I do is I fish for tournament fish. So like there's a difference to me when I see a fish if it's a tournament fish or not. It's hard to explain, but it's all up here when I see it, I know like, go on. I'll keep trolling. I see that one, go on, keep trolling. I see one, I'm like tournament fish, and I'll try to catch it. And usually, a tournament fish would be in anywhere from a 2.5 to as big as they get. A lot of times. So, and it makes a lot because I'll get 30, 40 extra minutes fishing a day by not fishing for an average fish. And that helps
Right.
me a lot doing that. But the main thing is live scope's going to hurt me is practice because literally I could troll around on 10 practice till I found them, like really found them. And or even brush piles, like I'll troll and find some sneaky ones that's got two or three. Well, now I can't do that as efficiently now because there's you in a lot of these places, I do. There's so many brush piles, and there's only
Hmm.
fish in 10% of them, maybe
Right.
sometimes, unless you hit it right, of course. But like anything else like that, that's the thing that's gonna hurt me is practicing for sure. And I'm
Yeah, and
not a
that
guy
was the
that sticks
question I was
around.
going to ask you is what you thought about the new split, the 50-50 stuff. I find it really interesting that they did the way they did it, flipping the coin and all that stuff. So, with that said, is there a particular tournament you're looking forward to the most, or not looking forward to?
I don't know. I mean, Gunnersville's always been. I don't know why. Now I've never really scoped there because I haven't been back. But Gunnersville's always been kind of tough on me because I get overwhelmed in just flats of flats
Yeah.
and flats of grass. Like I just burn it. Like I'm like, I like it's like very like I like this hard edge right here. I like this point. I like this little round
Yeah.
knob. There, it's just like, hey, it's flat 8 foot of water for 100 yards, and there's one little like where the grass comes up to 7.5, and there's fish there for whatever reason. I have no
So
idea.
what you're saying is I don't need to pick you in fancy fishing for
No,
Gunnersville?
no, I would. I would not. Anybody that listens to this, I would not pick me in Gunnersville. And I hope I prove us wrong because I need it. But at the same point in time, like Gunnersville, I've been up there. I think it's just bad luck up there. I went up to the first tournament. It was a Toyota Series. Engine broke down. Went up there a
Mhm.
second tournament. Something to do with my trim or something with that. I mean, every time I've been there, I've always had some kind of issue, and it's never worked out. But no, it's just a lot of grass is definitely overwhelming. That's something I need to spend more time and learn because
Well,
I'm
for
not that
sure.
good. And like side
Well,
scanning
which one
grass,
are you looking forward to the most then?
which one am I looking forward to the most? Kind of hard. St. Lawrence, Champlain is not bad. I'm kind of excited this year because I get to go fish for largemouth because I know I ain't fishing for them smallmouth out there because I don't even know how you'd catch them without it. But I'm gonna go green fishing see if I can do any good. Um, let's see. What would be somewhere? Honestly, I've been hunting so much. I got trying to remember the schedule again. Um,
I get like that. I ain't gonna lie. I
yeah,
do
it's
that a
so
lot.
nice, man. My brain is just duh. It's just so clear.
I was actually
Uh,
trying to recount the schedule this year for the NPFL, and there was quite a few times I was like, I'm adding them up, and I'm like, I'm missing a tournament. Like I don't even know which
yeah,
one it is.
I got
But
6. Where's the 7th?
yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah, no, there is a few. I think it is kind of a good season. I am kind of sad we're not going to Texas. I am kind of
It's
sad about
weird.
that.
I've always questioned when tournament organizations don't go to Texas. I know NPFL didn't last year. They're going this year, going to Wright Patman. But
Yep.
it's always a weird scenario for me when we don't go to Texas because it does have so many amazing lakes in it, and I feel like we tap like one or two, and that's it, and then we don't ever go to any of the other great ones. So it is a
Yeah.
little bit unfortunate there. So let's just take one little turn real quick. Obviously you are fishing the Elite Series. Is there plans to do anything else, or are you just like this is my job, and then everything else I'm just going hunting? I'm assuming, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay, so that is kind of my excuse. So like a lot of times, I love hunting just as much as I like fishing, and like
Mhm.
maybe that's just because I fish more than I hunt, but I do love it because to me it's so close to. I mean, it's not identical by any means. You got to swap a few things out, but it's the same aspect to me is between
Yeah.
hunting and fishing because it's kind of the same deal. You're hunting, no matter what. Fishing, you're hunting. That's exactly what it is, and that's why I love it so much. It's just different speed, different pace. I can do it with my buddies. We can all have a good time. We can travel to really cool places. And like you said, mental game is by far the most important thing for me. If I get a little burnt out, I fish horrible. I get negative, and I don't give up real easy, but I get kind of aggravated. And when I'm aggravated, it's not good. It's just kind of, and that's
I mean, I've
why
seen you
I
fish
actually have.
aggravated
Yeah.
down in Mexico. You got a little aggravated. Speaking of Mexico, just real fast, I hate to
Uh
break it in the middle of what you're talking about. We were catching them on a minnow down there using forward facing sonar, catch them on a jig, kind of catch them on a lot of different things actually.
huh.
And I go ask Trey, and I'm like, "Hey man, like we're catching some really really big ones. Okay, we're just not catching a lot. We're just catching big ones though."
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, "What are you using?" He's like, "I don't know. Like I just been throwing this like minnow like this one." And he shows me a minnow that he's using. I'm like, "Oh okay, cool." I was like, "Do you have any more?" Because he's like, "Man, I think I'm out." And he goes and gets a trash bag. And I'm not saying like a regular trash bag, like a 5 gallon trash bag, a 13 gallon trash bag, like one of those utility trash bags. Okay, huge trash bags out of the back of his truck. And he just dumps it on his deck of his boat. And when I say it's a smorgasbord of crap in there, that's an understatement. Like it was from big worms to jigs to minnows to everything you could ever imagine. Not in an organized container. It was literally a trash bag. He's like, "Oh," and I'm going to tell you this. This is funny, and this is no sponsor knock or anything like that. It's by no sponsor affiliation whatsoever on here. He goes out there and he's catching them on a bait that I use a lot. I'm not going to name his minnow because I'm not going to do that. But he's been catching them on this minnow that I use a whole lot. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. And he comes in after the first day, maybe in the second day, and he goes, "Man, I found this new minnow. It is so good. Like it is the one. I really like it." And I'm like, man, he's got, because everybody thinks that these scopers, they have like all these special minnows and stuff. It's all the minnow and not the actual like what they're doing.
Uh-huh.
And he goes, "Dude, I just found this one. It is incredible. Like it catches the fire out of him." I'm like, "Man, what is it?" And he shows me, and I will say it because it was hilarious. It was a freeloader by Rapala, and he's like, "Dude, this thing is so good. I ain't never thrown it before." And I'm just laughing. I'm like, "Well, you're obviously that good because it really does not matter to this guy. Like everybody's sitting there making it so much more complicated than it is, and he pulls out that and he's like, "Man, it's my new secret bait." I'm just laughing. It's been, I don't know how many thousands of dollars has been won on that thing already.
Yep.
But I just found it really fascinating that between the minnow situation and just dumping a whole trash bag out, and there was packs of baits in there that we needed, but
Yep.
it's just the fact that it wasn't like in a Bass Pro bag or an Academy bag, or it was literally in a trash bag, big black trash bag. Like
Yep.
I'm honestly surprised they did not take it from you at the border or like completely seize it because there was so much crap in that one trash bag.
Yeah, because it was about to like I couldn't hold if you hold it up without holding the bottom, it just break through the bottom because there's so
Oh
much
yeah,
time.
no, it was terrible. It absolutely disturbed me. And on that same trip, he had a little trolling motor issue, and we're out there working on his trolling motor.
That
And
was
I'm
horrible.
asking him what he was doing, and he was like, "I don't know." Like, and so we ended up repairing or replacing his trolling motor. And when I say we made it as janky as possible, I'm surprised he survived the day with it
Bad. It was
whatsoever.
bad.
It was, I mean, imagine being in Mexico with no tools and
Yeah.
not anything that's going to help you install a new trolling motor. That's exactly where we were at in that situation. So you had to make it work, whatever it
Every
was.
time I
But
hit the gas, the bolts would come out of the fire fast.
don't even get me started with your bolts. His bolt situation was as bad as I've ever seen a bolt
Yeah, it was
situation.
pretty bad.
It was so bad. But
So
what
bad.
it gave me with you, more so than anything, was clarity. I mean, you're a young guy. I mean, have you even hit 20 yet? Are you 20 now finally?
I am. I'm
Oh
finally
my
got it.
God, you're finally 20. Um, but one thing about Trey, we all look at a kid, and I'm gonna call you a kid because you're not 21 yet. You're an
Yeah,
adult, but I'm still gonna call you a kid because you're half
that's
my
fine.
age right now, almost. Um, but what I will say about Trey is that gave me clarity about who he was as an angler. I mean, he's thrown in situations where, in which, now granted, you're putting yourself in situations, you're fishing tournaments, whatever.
Yep.
But you haven't experienced a lot of things on the water like a lot of these veteran anglers have, and I think a lot of times veteran anglers having a uh, misconstrued thought of how younger generation anglers should be and how they should act and professionalism and all this stuff. They are just learning right now. I remember when I was 20 years old, I was maybe the least professional person I know. Like, absolutely. Like, if I was thrown in the spotlight as to what you are, I would probably make a whole hell of a lot of mistakes.
Yep.
And that's just what it is. And I've made fun of you a lot, especially ever since actually getting to know you, not only just on the troll motor situation, but more so the boat wake, running bridges and all that stuff. And I remember one of the first times I saw you in Mexico, I was like, hey, just make sure you don't run any bridges while we're down here and get us disqualified. Um, but I mean, that's the reality of it. Like, should you have listened in the meeting or done, like, sure, but like, I understand that there's going to be mistakes that happen, and that you're a young angler, and I'm not giving you grace or anything like that, but it just is what it is in this situation. Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean, running boat, like, obviously you're gonna screw up, and that's part of it. If I expected my kid to be perfect 24/7, um, we'd have a long, long conversation because that would not be the case. So
Yeah, I guess I'm a little slow. I need signs foot by foot in those no wakes. Cause like it's only Palatka though. It's it. Like that place has got me. I can't stay in that place. Between fishing it and all the no wake buoys, no, I don't ever want to go back because literally it's like they give you a sign and they don't tell you like how. It's just like, and then there's another sign way over there and you're like, oh, well you should just run to that sign and then shut down. I bet I don't know. No, you idle for like a mile, and it's horrible. And I just yeah, I get a little confused. No, I don't have my several buoys. It's just two signs and that's it.
yeah, no, I do. I hate that aspect of it. That's why I don't want to go to Platka.
No,
And I know MPFL just picked their Florida location. I will not say what it is because I don't actually know if they've announced it. It
no,
got sent out to the anglers, but I was so, 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 so thankful that maybe that was not the location.
yeah,
Because I don't want to deal with that either. Because, like, I
horrible.
haven't been down there. I don't want to deal with the boat wake. You can't run here. You can run 30 miles an hour
Manatee
there.
zones.
It's really complicated, and when you get on these particular fisheries, it is complicated like that. I mean, I know St. Lawrence River is like that in certain situations, in
Yeah,
certain places, and knowing the exact law for every single place is, I mean, when you go to so many different ones, it is complicated. So,
and
but
they're
I'm
really
always
hating on you there.
I don't care how old you get in this industry, I'm going to make fun of you for running bridges and no wake zones forever.
That's all right.
So you're always going to be the cheater that runs bridges to
Yep.
me. Just
Every time. I swear, it's like even since the BFLs, that's like been the thing. Like, oh, my mama or my daddy bought me a bunch of waypoints and all this stuff, and I'm just sitting out there like I'll hear somebody say that, I'm just like, just my jaw just drops. I'm like, really? Like my boat only has like 500 hours on it every year. Like, nah, I had to get all the waypoints. But
I would have been a way better angler if my parents would have spent $500, or
exactly,
spent a
dude.
ton of money to
Anybody
go
can
buy
fish.
waypoints for me. But
It's easy. Anybody can
it's
do
so
it.
easy. Yeah. I mean but I mean, there definitely have been a lot of changes. I know that you kind of being now in the Elite Series, your second year. I know you finished second in AOY this year. What did you do last year? I want to say, didn't you have the situation that caused you not to win Angler of the Year last year too, right?
Yeah. Well,
And so,
yeah.
I mean, so you've been right there every year, or the both years that you've been fishing. You're going into your third year. I mean, obviously, you've got the world ahead of you. But I don't really give a crap about the fishing aspect of things. I ain't gonna lie to you. The fishing side, everybody's gonna ask you a million questions and a half about fishing. What does Trey McKinney like to do as a 20-year-old? Obviously, you can't drink. Not that you would anyway, but sure. Yeah, I'm not even going to say what I'm going to say, but I'm not. Trey McKinney is not a drinker. I know that for a fact. But what I will say is how do you balance still being young and still trying to do things that you want? I know you're an avid hunter. I know you spend a lot of time in the woods and pastures and wherever the heck else you hunt, because I don't hunt that much. I'm not gonna lie to you. But what else do you do? Like, what do you do to just beyond just clear your head in a duck blind? I mean, we all have our little things. What is it that you are into?
I'm pretty. I guess I'm kind of a boring person because that's like, I guess that's the thing I love is kind of after like when I need to clear my head. That's why I guess I piddle, and when I piddle is usually like deer hunting something like that. So instead of like in the winter or something, I usually get kind of usually that last tournament I'm pretty fed up.
Yeah.
Like I'm ready to get out, and I drive home, and then usually dove season starts, and literally I'm a very simple person when it comes to literally during these months that I'm fishing and during these months I'm hunting. And I got a friend back home. I call him JJ. His actual name's Jaden, but I've called him JJ ever since I know him. I don't even know why. But and me and him will go run out. We'll go fishing, maybe a little bit in some farm ponds, maybe just fun stuff. Because I don't really I have a few guys that I travel with like on air, like on the tour and stuff. But it's not the same as somebody you kind of grew up with. So me and him, when I get home, we'll do everything together, kind of, because he works a nurse, and he works 3 days a week doing a nurse. So we get the rest of the week just go do whatever. And my off season, like I said, I don't have a whole lot. Neither does he. So we go out and heck, do anything. We'll be fishing, hunting, building stands, just piddling, helping somebody, working at his house, anything else like that. And it's kind of fun just get away from it, go help somebody else, go do something with your buddies. It feels good. But another thing that is kind of weird is like I fish so much when I'm on the road that when I get home and I do nothing, I can't I feel like I don't know. I feel like I'm falling apart because it's like I have so much that I'm like I guess what would it do? Like I'm needed or I got a job or something
Mhm.
during fishing. Like I'm always working on the next project and stuff. And then when I get home, my mind is just like what are we doing? It's kind of like in a daze because I don't have anything to occupy my brain. So it's like, cause I'm a really slow person, but my brain's everywhere. So like, that's why I like
Oh yeah.
fishing, cause it's everything. It's always doing something. And when I stop, like that's why I have to hunt because it's the same difference. Like I have to hunt just because I'm not fishing because I can't do anything that I like.
Yeah.
So that's what hunting
I
keeps
think
me
that's called
perfect.
obsession. When you
Could
do
be.
something, you obsess over it, and so when you don't have that obsession, you're like, it's like an itch. You're like, I gotta scratch my itch, but you
It
can't. You
is.
don't want to necessarily do it with fishing because you kind of already done it for a while.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, I'll be honest, when I get home from the last term of the year, usually, especially if I've sold my boat or something like that already, I might not go fishing for like a month or 2 months. And it'd be just perfectly okay.
Yep.
And so I get it. I mean, I get the post fishing burnout, like, where you're, and I would love to say it gets easier, but it doesn't. In fact,
Yeah.
it probably will get worse as you get older, especially because eventually, maybe, possibly, you might not have an angler of the year.
Yeah.
And when you have a bad tournament or a couple bad tournaments, and I'm hoping that never happens. I hope you become the best of all time. I really do. Like, genuinely, I hope that for every angler. I just want to beat you at the end of the day. But what it all boils down to is figuring out ways to get past that. One way that I've coped is I spend a lot of time with my son, and so I coach his football team, his track team, his basketball team, basically
Yep.
every team that he's a part of, and I obsess over that. Like, that's what I obsess over. And while, like, I'm in the middle of football season right now, and so, like, it's easily one of the best teams I've ever coached in my life as far as athletic talent. So it is really awesome to coach football.
Heck yeah.
So, like, finding, and they play on Saturdays. So, like, one of the big problems for me is, like, there's tournaments on Saturdays. Well, I'm not going to go to a tournament and miss a football game. Like, that's
Yep.
100% not going to happen. So any of these fall tournaments, I'm like, oh, I'd love to be out there, but I'm not going to be out there because I'm not
Yep.
missing this. And so I get the obsession aspect of it. I'd not necessarily from the hunting aspect, but I just redivert mine in a different
Yeah.
way. Although my
Same
son and
thing.
I hog hunting lately, and so that's always a good time. But so what obviously I know you like to hunt. I know you spend a lot of time hunting different species of animals,
Mm-hmm.
birds, deer, all that kind of stuff. What is your favorite? And what do you see? What do you find yourself obsessing about more than maybe any other, game? Whether it be a deer or whitetail or elk or whatever.
Yeah, I obsess over like waterfowl. Like,
Okay.
a lot of people see it as like, okay, but it's totally different. Like when you go up somewhere like Canada or even travel, there's tons I try to go everywhere, work my way down from start here, go to Missouri, go to Kansas, go to Oklahoma, go to Arkansas and Texas, and then work my way back. It's
Yeah.
usually my my deal on my traveling. But you travel so many places and you find out like even though it's just like a fish, they got a brain that's size of this, but it's still pretty cool on what they do and why they do it. Like a lot of times, so it's kind of the same thing as fishing. Is when I get obsessed over it, my sleep schedule gets all jacked up because I don't have any like crazy. I don't have like a lot of good places to go usually, so it's all public stuff. So then it's even 10 times harder because then you're chasing everybody in. You're getting up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You're like it's a lot. But that's the fun part to it, and I'm hoping once I be able to fish enough. That's kind of the bad thing is I make money fishing, spend it hunting. So I'm kind of in the even right now. But hopefully one day I can at least get me a spot where you can have something that's yours and go out there and it's just like a pond almost. Just get it
Right.
ready, get it how I like it and stuff. But anymore it's expensive. It takes a lot of money to play that game that I don't
Oh
have.
yeah,
But
it's crazy.
yeah, I don't have that. But in Canada, it's pretty cool because they do what birds do.
Hmm.
Like they fly out at daylight, they go feed at 9:30, 10. Sometimes if it's cold, they'll fly back to water, get a drink, fly back out in the field. Like it's a pretty cool place to just go. Not everybody's super nice except a select few. A select few or not.
I think that's
Um,
anywhere you go, though.
Anywhere, yeah. Like I had one guy that I answered the phone. I was like, "Hey, buddy, you got some birds on your place?" And I first phone call, I really didn't know how to talk to him because everything's in places up there. You have to say certain stuff to get them to do it. And he's like, "Go back to wherever the heck you came from." Bleep. I was like, mind boggled. I was like, "Oh man," I was like, "I'm really not that mean of a person, but okay." And I don't know. It's just fun. Like you said, it's a different
Yeah.
obsession that goes elsewhere for me.
Well, it's crazy in this industry, in the fishing, especially the pro angler side of things. If you really pay attention, there's the hunters that are, also fishermen. They do obsess over one or the other. Like, you've got guys like Zach Burge that it's like massive waterfowl. Like, he's going to go to Canada. He's going to go on all these trips. He's going to shoot a bunch of ducks and geese.
Yep.
One of my good friends, Zach, Zach Caudle, I know he used to go to Canada all the time. Like that was his kind of getaway, going ducks and geese. So it was always interesting. And then you got guys like Andy Morgan that is gonna be in the woods with a bow and he's hunting deer, and same with like a Jason Christie. Those are the guys that are the ones that are in the woods, and that is what they do. And I could probably even throw Dakota Eber in that list now because I feel like that's all he wants to do is go hunting as well.
Yep.
But it is interesting when you start looking at that. But one thing that we have not done, we're going to take one more right turn before the end of the show. Is usually I don't open this up for questions, but we have had some pretty good ones, and we'll try to answer as many as we can. So like keep your answers pretty short and sweet and to the point. And this is just one comment I thought was funny, bro. It's full blown whitetail season. I'm here listening to the fishing, which I find is funny. But this is a buddy of mine, Corey. He said, "Let's talk about scoping in Central Illinois." And I'm assuming you've caught them scoping there and won some up there.
Yeah, a little bit. Like there's some like Rim Lake. Might as well take it off and throw it in the lake because that's not going to do any good at all. Shelbyville, you can a little bit. That's an interesting lake for what we have in Illinois. That's a lot where our BFLs go. Like a lot of times, like that's the thing that makes our BFLs kind of tough is because we go to the same place because that's all the places we have. Like we don't have any more places. So it's kind of like the same. Like Wren Lake and Shelbyville are pretty much just kind of swapping back and forth. And Wren Lake's probably one of my favorite tournament lakes because there's a lot of it's all lay down flipping, bushes when the water gets a little high. And the toughest part about it is it's always one off the bridges once it gets a little bit hotter. And there's only 8 corners, like in the place. So it's like whoever gets it gets it. But for me, Shelbyville scoping, there's a lot of stumps, stuff like that. It's a lot of stuff where we scope. It's not you see the fish and it's like, oh my gosh, that's a big one. You throw over and catch it. A lot of times for us scoping in like Shelbyville and stuff, it's see a stump, see a flicker, see some bait around it, throw your shaky head or your jig, drag it 4 or 5 times around it, see if you can get one to ride. Like a lot of times what I'll do, like scoping in that scenario is just take a big jig and burn it over stuff and wait till I see one and then I know what I'm working with.
Right.
Like if I have to do that, a lot of times and I haven't had a bite in a while, I'm losing confidence. I just go on max speed till I see what I'm working with and then I can figure out how to catch them. A lot of times that's how I honestly target all across the world. Texas is huge for that. For me anyway, that's how I catch a lot of them. But yeah, it's just getting on there and seeing what you're seeing. But a lot of times it's just fishing the cover you're seeing, and that's about all you can do because everybody knows that fishing in Illinois, you're getting 5 to 10 bites usually. That's a good day of tournament fishing.
So here's one. Don't understand not using forward-facing sonar in practice. I understand not using it in the actual tournament. During practice, you should be able to, because you're going to use something like an AquaView, and that's allowed. So, like, I understand that the concept of that. I know we had the similar discussion in NPFL about it because that was an argument I made. I was like, well, why can't we just use it in practice? But I think the whole aspect of that is to eliminate it completely. You practice without it. You go find fish without it, and you just kind of see where the cards fall. I mean, this is something interesting. I was going to say this: come fish the WON Bass Open next year. All right, as an angler that has traveled out to WON Bass, and I don't know if you even know what that is.
No.
But the U.S. Open is a legendary tournament. It used to be on Lake Mead forever. Rick Plunn has won it numerous times. It is easily one of the top tier West Coast championships that there is. Spencer Sheffield just won it. They moved the tournament now to Mojave, which has a bunch of big smallmouth. It has definitely been dominated with scope the last handful of years. And I would absolutely recommend you going out west and fish that tournament if you can get in it, and which I'm absolutely assuming that you can, mainly for the fact that I know that they're always looking for guys to come out there and fish. They go to like Clear Lake, they go to Mojave, they go to Mead Still, they go to a couple different bodies of water, but they're all really good. You 100% need to check that out. I think
Yeah,
you would really enjoy it.
that'd be awesome because I've never even fished. Like the farthest west I've fished is literally like, not that far, like a couple
Yeah.
hours west, and that's it. Like most everything's south or east that we fish on the Elite Series. So that would be cool.
Yeah, I've fished. I've actually gone out and fished the California Open, which is on Clear Lake. I fished Mead quite a few times for the U.S. Open, and I'm gonna tell you, man, there is nothing in the world like fishing on those bodies of water. And in fact, you probably should never go to Clear Lake. I promise you, without a doubt, you should never go to Clear Lake because you'll never want to go anywhere else. I
Yep.
understand that. At first, when people would talk about that, I thought it was funny, and I was like, oh, like whatever. I remember going and practicing for that California Open, and I went and skipped docks, and I caught 20 pounds in like an hour. And then I went and flipped toolies and caught over 20 pounds. And then I went and fished deep and caught over 30. This was all in the same day. And it didn't matter what you did. They were everywhere, and you could do anything you wanted to do. It was some of the most incredible fishing I think I've ever been a part of.
That would be fun.
And it is a
Skipping
great scoping
docks.
lake too. Dude, it is a great scoping lake. Let's see. Hey, this is Corey also said Short River has a few confusing areas too. No wake signs on the bank. How are you supposed to see those? I agree with that completely.
Yeah.
Here is a good one. Did you switch from Lowrance to Garmin? If so, why?
I did actually. So there was a thing like we all talk about on brands wise. So like Lowrance, when they first come out, there was the Act Target 1 and the
Mhm.
2. But there was a little version there where there was a certain amount of transducers that went out that was absolutely incredible. Like literally incredible. And I was lucky enough, and I didn't know it at the time because that's just how I thought it was. I was lucky enough to get one of those.
Mhm.
And I had it, and I was telling everybody, like, dude, throw away that Garmin, put this on here. You're unbelievable. Like, I mean, I could, it's a tighter cone. I could see my bait at 80, 90, nothing flat. I wish I still had videos of it because it was honestly, in comparisons of a Garmin right now, it was unbelievable. And then the next year came out when I was telling us sell that. And then I went through 4 transducers and 2 black boxes and still couldn't find something that, I thought I was going to do.
Mhm.
So then that's when I switched over to Garmin these last 2 years. But there is certain Lowrances out there. And even now they're getting a lot better. I've saw a lot of people's updates, a lot of
Yeah.
units and stuff getting way better. But there's that little time frame that I got a bad taste in my mouth. And that's why I had switched. But there is definitely getting way better now. I think like it's honestly, don't you agree? It's not even that far away from Garmin anymore. Like just a little few
Well,
things.
yeah, and I use Lowrance, and it's funny that you say the bad taste because I had the same bad taste with Garmin. Because I actually was one of the first anglers out there with Panoptics, like when it was
Yep.
OG Panoptics. When there was only like 6 or 8 guys out there even running them. And going to live scope, and then now the LVS 34s. I had a lot of issues with my units during that time frame of shutting down and like that big sway thing that it does, to the point where it was driving me crazy and it was costing me
Yeah.
money. It was costing me fish. And I went out and used Active Target, and I never had the sway issue. I could still see what I felt like I needed to see.
Yep.
I do believe I did get one of those really good transducers on my first Active Target too, because I'm
Yep.
gonna tell you right now, like I was like, I don't care what y'all have, like this thing is bad to the bone. And
Yes.
since then, I've learned how to update mine to really fine tune it. A lot of times it could be from wiring or having it installed correctly. I've got a really, really good guy down in South Texas, Kenny, that installs all of my stuff. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like there ain't nobody else touching my boat ever again unless it's that guy.
Oh,
Because my Active Target 2 every year now since I've had him rig my boats has been spectacular.
perfect.
Um, but I think as an angler though, we all run into that. It's so funny you say that because
Yep.
I have experienced exactly what you experienced as far as like that one thing that you're like, what the heck? Like, and it just aggravates you to a point where it doesn't really matter necessarily, but mentally it
Yep.
checks you out and you've just got to go. You got to go do something different.
Yep.
And
That's how
I
I
know it
was.
did it for me. I mean, and it's funny. GGW said, "Can you stop buying all the Sakamatas and fish rollers?" Once again, you're talking to a guy that probably doesn't even know what those are. I mean,
Yeah, I honestly, I found out what a fish roller was. Like about a couple, like no, it's like almost at the last tournament of this year. I was looking and I was like, man, these things look cool. And the guy's like, you don't know what that is? And I'm like, nah, but they look awesome. He's like, people's been catching on those for like however long now. I was like, what do you mean? I was like, I haven't heard nothing about these, so I bought like 10 packages because that's all you can find now. And Sakamatas, honestly, I don't like Sakamatas because they tear so easy. And he'll speak for me. He never saw me throw one Sakamata. I don't.
nope.
I'm not a big Sakamata guy.
I'm not going to tell you what we did throw, but it worked pretty good though.
Yep.
No, it was really good. And Corey did say I got sixth in the July Shelbyville this year. One of the few tournaments I've been able to use forward facing sonar around here.
Yep.
Corey, actually, it's a funny story about Corey. I met Corey from playing video games because old people do play video games too. Like I did play a lot of Warzone, and and
Yep.
actually right now I'm playing a lot of Fortnite with my kid because I will literally do anything to spend time with my kid. In fact, here is a funny one for you, and nobody knows about this one. This is going to blow some people's mind, but Pokemon cards.
Oh my goodness.
My son and I collect Pokemon cards, and you want to talk about a super addicting habit is to start. And we've always collected like football cards and all this, and he bounces back and forth between Pokemon and football. And actually, on my desk right now, I've got a bunch of really good cards that need put away. But it
Yeah.
as you get older, you start realizing that kind of stuff, and you find joy in little tiny things. But
Absolutely.
man, let me tell you, I just want to say a humongous thank you for coming on. Hopefully, I didn't scare you away, and hopefully, I'll get a text back from you from time to time now.
Yeah.
But really and truly, thank you, Trey, for coming on. I wish you nothing but the best for next year, and hopefully, you can prove somebody wrong and maybe go catch at least a single bass in those non-scope tournaments.
One. Hey, if I catch one in the event, I'm gonna be happy. All right. So if everybody sees one, just know I'm smiling.
Hey, but for anybody that didn't watch the beginning, make sure you do not pick Trey for Lake Gunnersville for Bassmaster Fantasy Fishing. He's already said that is absolutely not in his wheelhouse. But thank you again, Trey. If you need anything, let me know, buddy. And otherwise, I'll see you down.
Sounds good. Thank you. Same here.
All right, guys, that was Trey McKinney. What an awesome angler he is. I mean, truly, we can all say a bunch of different stuff. You can say whatever you want to about the guy. And I'm not going to lie to you. At first, when I first saw him and saw his success, I had a lot of question marks. And I was told a bunch of stuff about info and all this crap. And to the point where I really believed the rumors, and which I don't necessarily always agree with believing rumors because that's why they're a rumor, right? But what I will say is that I learned about his work ethic. I got to see him behind the scenes, what he's done to prepare for lakes. And I can't speak to his past, and I'm not going to speak to his past. But what I can say is from the moment that I actually had a real conversation with him till now, he has been one of the guys that it really puts the time in, puts the work in. He doesn't care about the baits as much as everybody thinks he does, which I definitely applaud as far as that goes, because sometimes as anglers, we try to complicate things more than they need to be. And sometimes it's as simple as throwing this bait or that bait and using this or not using that. So next time you're on the water, guys, try not to overcomplicate your system. Go out there and just try to figure out how to catch some bass. I hope y'all enjoyed this podcast. We have another great guest coming on next week, next Tuesday at noon. If you get a chance, make sure you share this podcast with a friend, especially one that does not know how to catch bass. We'll see y'all on the next one.